VCW Liberty Lottery continues with the following contest scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, he hails from Robbinsdale, Minnesota, and weighing in at 191 pounds, accompanied to the ring by Mark Fleming. He is the greatest VCW champion of all time, and soon to win the Liberty Lottery, Mr. Xcellence, Brandon Scott.
And with that over-the-top introduction of the former three-time Virginia heavyweight champion, Mr. Xcellence, Brandon Scott, makes his entrance here at the 15th Annual Liberty Lottery, and you see him led to the ring by the original Virginia heavyweight champion, Mark Fleming, making his triumphant return back to VCW here tonight. Mark, of course, returned to the professional wrestling scene here locally back in July of 2021 when VCW returned from its COVID-19 hiatus. And Mark Fleming on that night subsequently shocked the world and turned his back on the fans and tradition and joined up with this man, Mr. Xcellence, Brandon Scott. He did win his third VCW heavyweight title on that night, now looking to procure his fourth later on inside the Liberty Lottery Battle Royal.
And weighing in at 160 pounds, the heaven-sent kid, Alex Divine.
And Scott looking to win that championship yet again, but perhaps there may be some divine intervention as Alex Divine, the heaven-sent kid, back inside a VCW ring. And he has really made a name for himself. In 2022, he's done it as a single, he's done it as a tag, looking to get by one of the most decorated stars in VCW history here tonight. And if he can get by Brandon Scott, he has an excellent opportunity, no pun intended, to then go on and make some waves inside that Liberty Lottery Battle Royal later on. But this is unquestionably the biggest test of Alex Divine's young career. This will be a good measuring stick to see exactly where he falls in the pecking order here of VCW. And the crowd here in southeastern Virginia has certainly taken to Alex Divine. Bell sounds, we're underway. Brandon Scott, Alex Divine, one-on-one, right in the thick of the 15th Annual Liberty Lottery. Brandon Scott, who many years ago found himself in the same position as Alex Divine. You go back about a decade, Brandon Scott with the puka shell necklace, making his VCW debut alongside the likes of the Platinum icon Phil Brown, joined up with Tommy Dreamer, trying to latch on to some big-time veterans and really make a name for himself. And Alex Divine looking to maybe follow a similar path here, as Brandon Scott, ever since losing that Virginia Heavyweight Championship to Ken Dixon back in November of last year, Scott has been trying to climb back up the ladder, has been knocked down a few pegs, and we'll see if he's able to prove his worth yet again here tonight. And Alex Divine, a bit younger, a bit quicker, and looking to stay a step ahead here of Brandon Scott. Scott goes for it all right there. And Divine, once again, utilizing that speed and quickness to stay a step ahead as Scott finds himself on the outside. Keep your eyes on the heaven-sent kid. Tope Suicide to the outside. And Alex Divine looking mighty fine here tonight in this huge test against Brandon Scott. Divine in the near side corner. He's going all the way upstairs. Crossbody connects. There's a cover. And Divine thought that might be enough, but Brandon Scott, a little bit of a tougher task to break down. And once again, folks, we know our premier bout of the evening. It might not be the main event tonight, but it is the one everyone came to see, the 15th Annual Liberty Lottery Delayed Entry Over the Top Rope Battle Royal. 2 men enter. And every 90 seconds, a new man will enter the fray until all 20 have come into the ring. And at that point, the final man standing will be declared the winner and receive a championship shot at any title of his choosing in the next calendar year here in VCW, which can create a lot of possibilities and openings. And Divine, as he was trying to slingshot himself from the apron back inside, Braden Scott, the savvy veteran, staying a step ahead. And now completely derails the momentum of the Heaven Sent Kid. And now Scott, a series of rights between the eyes of Divine. And Scott now having his way with Alex Divine here, holds the bridge off of the Fisherman Suplex. Again, only gets 2, but you can hear the air just sucked right out of the crowd here. They were starting to come alive for the young man from Maryland. As Divine, as always, been somewhat of an uphill climb in his quest for success here in VCW. Braden Scott, another cover, only gets 2. And we talked about, of course, the Liberty Lottery bout coming up. But the main event of the evening, the Dixon line explodes. Ken Dixon defends his Virginia heavyweight title against Joe Keys, who has been undefeated with the exception of a loss to Bohr a couple of months ago for the bulk of 2.5 years here in VCW. And Scott drives that fist right between the eyes, coming off that middle turnbuckle. And referee J.R. Giles says that won't be enough. But Braden Scott has completely taken over here. And back to Dixon and Keys, of course, Ken Dixon inching closer to 1 year as Virginia heavyweight champion. And Joe Keys getting by Cerrillos de la Sangre and Gino Medina back in April to secure that #1 contender position. As you see Mark Fleming there shouting instructions at Braden Scott, the proverbial coach, in the corner of Mr. Excellence. And though he is no longer the Virginia heavyweight champion, Braden Scott, a modicum of success with Mark Fleming at ringside. As Divine once again, look at a scratch and claws way back into this one. And Divine connects with that drop kick. And the pendulum is starting to swing now. Alex Divine here, looking to take out the legs of Braden Scott. And picks up the offensive pace a bit now. As Divine looking to go right where he's at home, right where he's most comfortable, in high-risk territory. Braden Scott in a supine position. Alex Divine, rotating splash off the top. He might have done some damage of his own. There's a cover a bit late. 2. Oh, and poor ring positioning. And a heads-up move by the former 3-time VCW champion as Braden Scott grabs the bottom rope and prevents the pinfall. As Fleming trying to coach Scott there in that far side corner. The Irish whip T reverse to the near side. And Scott just launches Divine right into that ring post. And there's a slice of excellence. This ought to do it. Hooks the outside leg. 2. Oh, and Divine somehow able to muster enough energy to kick out a 2.5. And now Braden Scott needs to go back to the drawing board. He's already dropped the fist. We've already seen a slice of excellence. That Scott Buster could be on deck. As Braden Scott putting Alex Divine in a very precarious position here. Both men in high-risk territory. And Divine trying to fight Scott off. And Scott back in a position now. He has Divine on his shoulders here. Precarious position for Divine. He's going to roll through. Scott sits down. 1, 2. Divine shifts his weight. There's a pin. 2, 3. Divine wins. Divine wins. Divine wins.
Here is your winner, Alex Divine.
History has been made in the 15th annual Liberty Lottery. I won't quite call it kid over razor, but Alex Divine knocks off Brandon Scott 1, 2, 3 on the biggest event of the VCW calendar. And certainly the signature win of this young man's career, not just at VCW, but everywhere he's been. Alex Divine has officially pinned the former 3-time VCW champion. What a moment here for Alex Divine, as he's going to look to keep that momentum rolling on into the Liberty Lottery Battle Royal here. But you see Mark Fleming conferencing with Brandon Scott about this loss. Divine won fair and square. Fleming, I don't know if he's ordering Brandon Scott or at least encouraging him. It looks like to shake his hand. Oh, come on! Completely uncalled for. Brandon Scott goes low on Divine, now pummeling him into next week, as Mark Fleming just rips Brandon Scott right off. This is not the sportsmanship that Fleming displayed throughout his career. He pulls off the dog as Mark Fleming. And Alex Divine now nowhere near 100% heading into the Liberty Lottery. Oh! Brandon Scott puts his hands on Mark Fleming. Between the eyes, drills Brandon Scott, and he may no longer be an active competitor, but the original Virginia heavyweight champion can still pack a pretty strong punch. As Mark Fleming here helping Alex Divine to his feet and showing some good sportsmanship right there. As the heaven-sent kid, once again, the largest win of his career comes down here tonight in the 15th annual Liberty Lottery. And ladies and gentlemen, we are just getting started. Coming up next, it's a Haas fight. Tag team action. The ring crew has to come out and reinforce this ring because we're going to have over 1,000 pounds of force as the Boar and the Platinum Icon Phil Brown take on the Sharky Tank. That is coming up next here in Norfolk.